Now I'm going to come to waste, and now I'm going to come back to my bag, which I put on the stage here. Because basically what we have to do now in terms of waste is we have to remanufacture and reuse everything, because the Earth is a closed system. We've got to live in a closed way with a low ecological footprint. And when you recycle things and they sort of become waste and you move them back up again, it's called upcycling. So upcycling of waste is what we should do. And this is an upcycled bag. This bag, there's a copy of this bag in the Museum of Modern Art in New York. And this bag is made out of the sides of lorries. And these are seat belts from cars. But these bags are high fashion. And they're made in Switzerland. And they're sold for enormous amounts of money because they're fashion items. So all of you can get involved in upcycling. But what you need to do is to go out there and look for these products, because at the moment they're not as expensive as they will be, and they're very cool. So this morning I went to a website called trendhunter.com, and I just pulled off a few photographs of upcycled fashion goods and furniture, so you can realize just how far this has now gone. London Fashion Week now has a whole eco section on upcycled fashions. And here we have some furniture. The desk is made out of aircraft wings, and the seat is made out of a plastic traffic bollard in the United States. So these are now becoming high fashion items. So this is something you can do tomorrow. You can go and look for these products and buy them. And actually, maybe you know some friends who might want to get together and start making these things, because I think people will really want to have them. So before I get to my final point, I just want to talk about a little bit more about this waste recycling, which is not a very attractive thing after we've had all this lovely evening talking about sewage waste. But people like me, unfortunately, end up talking about it all the time because it's so important. In Hammarby in Stockholm, there's a new community of 2,000 people where they've installed this digester, which digests all the sewage and waste food, and that provides energy for all of the cooking in those houses and to run some of the cars. And the compost and nutrients that come out of it are used for growing food in the community. So this is the sort of idea that we can do. We can do this in all cities in Asia really effectively. So finally, I want to talk about running on information. All organisms on the planet run on information, and we're just at a point now where we can do it. And you know why we can do it, because of this smartphone. Now, has anyone here designed an app? Is anyone here who's designed an app? Anyone at all? Anyone about to design an app? No? I was hoping there might be one or two, because what you can now do is imagine the sort of decisions you might want to take after this presentation. You might want to look for sustainable food. You might want to look for fish that comes from sustainable sources. You might want to go to a market that's providing local food rather than food from the other side of China, and so on and so forth. You might want to travel across Hong Kong and find out how to do it really efficiently on time. Well, apps can do that for you, and these are now spreading. And so running on information is now a practical proposition in cities all over the world. And we're talking about smart home deliveries using bicycles, but smart because actually you're in communication with the people you're delivering to. So this combination of traditional ways of thinking about things and smartness is the way to reach this ecological age in actually quite an exciting and attractive way, which I think many of you can do. So I'm going to finish with a bit of a summary video about what this is all about. So it's about adapting, it's increasing resilience, it's managing our resources, maybe getting by on about a quarter of the resources we need at the moment. And basically it means in cities we have to actually put places to live and work close to transport hubs. We have to put more public transport into existing cities to make them work much more efficiently. We have to effectively create a low-carbon lifestyle through new infrastructure systems. And buildings aren't buildings to keep people inside, they're also the side of the street. So if you put planting on the side of the buildings, you can cool the street down, and that means you need less energy in the buildings. You can grow food in land. You can take out the garages, which you don't have in Hong Kong, but you have in other cities, and put grocery stores inside. And in a city like Hong Kong, we can do something called integrated resource management, where we can take the energy, the water, and the waste systems and manage them and put green roofs on the roofs and so on. And buildings can be power stations. They can actually absorb energy to run the building and maybe even provide power to other buildings. Here we are running on information. You've got your phone, you know when the bus is coming, you can turn up, and particularly if you're young or old or disabled, this is a really big advantage. We can grow food in our offices using water and nutrients. We can change the streets in Hong Kong. This one you'll probably recognize, with photovoltaic panels running the lights, with different facades and much more public transport. And we can think about our cities as being smart and adaptable and responsive by introducing many of these ideas. And basically, with modeling and other systems, one can begin to understand how to make existing cities work without tremendous levels of investment. So this is all practical and doable, but you've got to make sure that you require it. You as consumers have got to go looking for these services, look for the apps, look for the upcycled products to actually make a difference. And they are there. The exciting thing is that if you go on to look at the apps at the moment, there are loads of apps for almost every city in the world to enable some of these things to be done. So living in cities can feel as if you're living more in harmony with the natural world, because these natural systems will actually help us to live more efficiently. So basically, we're talking about integration. We're talking about you as an architect working with someone who's an engineer, with someone who's an ecologist, with someone who's an economist. And this is the future. You're not going to do this on your own. You're going to be working in multidisciplinary teams, living in an ecological age. I really sincerely hope that you understand this and really take it forward individually, because actually in Hong Kong and Singapore and many cities across your region, the governments now have realized that this transition ought to happen, and they need your support and your energy to help make it happen. So get your friends together, get your family together and say, look, we can do this. All of this material is on the web, it's on YouTube, you can follow it through. There are many, many examples, and I hope this will have helped you to understand some of the issues. Thank you, and I'm happy